Hey guys, Masterstarman here, and this is gonna be a very different video than what I usually record, um, because I'm really not sure how to feel at this point, because, okay, I'll back up a little bit. There's been some shit that's been on my mind a lot lately, and I'm gonna be honest, this is the probably most different video I've ever made in my entire channel, but I'm gonna try to explain this one here a little bit. So in my draw my life video, which I made about 6 months ago ish, and in that video, I kind of explained that I kind of told a story about someone I grew up with that I feel like that's really lightly summing it up, and I'm gonna be honest, it's been something that's been on my mind a lot lately that I just really don't know how to really get over, honestly. And there's been so much shit that's come up lately that has made it even harder for me to, I think, get over it. I can't just get over it. Okay, I'll back up for those of you who don't know what happened. When I was 10, maybe 9, I don't remember, sometime in 2006 or 7, I'd say, girl I went to school with, actually, well, two girls I went to school with, I should say, they were sisters. Their parents moved to a house just down the road from me, so they were essentially neighbors of mine, and so yeah, we did a lot of stuff together, needless to say. We spent a lot of our summers together, and I'm gonna be honest, those two are the only girls that have ever been to this house, and in this room here. Like, they're the only girls that have ever been to this room, besides, like my mother and such. And it's crazy to think that, 7 years later, actually, no, 8 years later, almost, like, I'm still recording in the exact same room that I always have been. And, I mean, I occasionally do other things. I do live streams at a different location, and, I tend to upload my stuff at another location as well, just because the internet there is better. But in general, pretty much everything's always been recorded here. And anyways, that's getting very off topic. My point is that they were the only back on this subject though, like, they were the only girls who's ever been over at my house, and that seems like an odd thing for someone who's 19 years old to say. I'm gonna be honest, I've only ever kissed 2 girls in my entire life, and that sounds like a weird thing to say, and I'm not trying to say, like, I'm in this looking for love or looking for some intense relationship at only 19 years old. Hell no, I'm certainly not. But I'll be honest, the 2 girls I kissed were both last year, both at my high school grad party, and they were both drunk. So that should just go as like a indication to say that right there. Whether you say that as being legit or not, it's really just hard to say. But yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, it's been very different. I've been out of high school for an entire year now, And I'm gonna be honest, I still don't really know what I want to do with my life. It sounds like a weird thing to be saying right now, but I'm gonna be honest and say this right now. I'm not gonna be Let's Playing forever. I know that for a fact. And I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably gonna stop Let's Playing after 10 years, if I can be honest. Like, if even that, I don't really know if there hasn't been a lot of motivation lately, and I feel there's a lot that's really been done. But back on the subject, I knew these girls for a lot of my life, basically, and I was good friends with them for many years. And in kind of a way, they kind of saved my interest in Pokemon a little bit, because I kind of, around 2006-ish, I kind of lost a little bit of interest. I mean, around the time Diamond and Pearl came out, I still got Diamond version, and I played that a lot, but, like, I didn't watch the anime hardly at all by that point, and, I'd say that was also kind of around the time I got into YouTube as well. I could be wrong about that, but it was probably around the same time-ish. And, anyways, yeah, the two girls the two girls' names were Leah and Tasha, and it's kind of iffy on whether or not you should or shouldn't say names like this or whatnot, but I mean, what do I have to lose here if I make this video? And I mean, I apologize if I sound like an early Tim Bishop video here, but I mean, it's like, what exactly do I have to lose in this situation just by saying a few names here? I mean, I don't think I'd be losing anyone. Like, there's probably a bajillion Leahs and Tashas in the world, but only one would know if the real situation and the real me when if they hear this or see this or whatever. I doubt they've seen my Draw My Life video, so I mean, the odds of them seeing this video are kind of odd. Anyways, basically what happened was August 2010, which was almost 7 years ago, or actually almost 6 years ago, my bad. I'm recording this on July 7th, 2016 right now. And what happened, they more or less, they moved away, basically. And normally this wouldn't seem like such a big deal for an average person. And every person I've talked to, their first response was, oh, well, can you message them on Facebook or whatever? Here's the thing. Neither of them have an active Facebook right now. They both did at one point, or they both used it at one point anyway, but neither of them have posted anything on Facebook since probably 2011 or 12. And I shouldn't say the specific town anyway, but unless I did in the Drawn to Life, or Draw My Life video. There's an odd story about Drawn to Life as well, actually, that I could probably tell, but basically, in 2012, for the people who remember me from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, you'll remember this. In 2012, I took a 6-week hiatus, about this time, actually. It was in the summer of 2012. I took a 6-week hiatus and went to North Bay, Ontario. And yeah, so I learned that they apparently live not far from the North Bay area, like, shortly after I got back, or maybe a year later or something, and it's kind of shitty. I wish I would have known that back then. I mean, I'm not, like, heartbroken about it. It's what's done is done. I kind of can't change the past in any way, but I mean, like, yeah, I don't know, it's just, there's just so much really that it nothing's been really that easy, and I'm gonna say why it hasn't. It's that I'm not really sure my motivation right now. I feel that I haven't had much motivation to do anything as of lately. I mean, most of my friends have summer jobs. Most of my friends are one of my friends just moved to Fort McMurray, Alberta, for work, and I have no idea how long he's gone for. It's like I have friends, but ultimately, maybe it's just me taking everything for granted. I have no idea, but ultimately, I do still really, really miss Leah and Tasha a lot, and I can't really. I don't know how to get over this situation. Like, it's not an easy matter in any way. I haven't talked to Leah since Lord knows when, sometime in early 2012, but it was after 2011, because I remember I showed her something I made in the 2011 recap video, and like I was talking to her on Facebook back then, but she doesn't use Facebook anymore. And like there's just been a lot of stuff happening lately that's just made it really hard to get to think of. And one of the things actually, I kind of briefly stumbled on this earlier, but one of the things actually has to do with this game here. This is the original Drawn to Life, by the way. Some of you may know I did a Let's Play of the SpongeBob Drawn to Life a couple years ago. And, yeah, so I had an odd urge to play Drawn to Life the other night. Like, I was just about to go to bed. And I had an odd urge to play this game, so I went down here to this room. Like, my bedroom's upstairs, obviously, but, like, I went down here to this room, and my DS games, I don't think you can see them from here, but, like, I kind of have my games organized by stuff. I have PS3 and Wii U stuff on the top, Wii on the next shelf, then GameCube, then 3DS and DS, and so I just went down, and I knew if any place where my cartridge of Drawn to Life would be, it would be in the case. And sure enough, the cartridge was in the case. Here's the thing. It wasn't actually my cartridge of the game at all. It was Leah's. Yeah, Leah and I both had this game growing up, and we were both stuck at the final boss. To this day, I don't even think I ever beat the final boss. I'm sure I could probably do it now. Like, it's been about 8 years since I even played the game, but I'd say I'd be able to do it now than ever before, I guess. But yeah, I loaded up the file, and the start screen had this guy's name on it that she had a crush on at one point, but that's beside the point. It had this guy's name on it, and I'm like, okay, I don't know why my start screen says this, but okay. I was kind of half living in the nostalgia of the music and reliving some memories from when I was 10 years old, but whatever. So I loaded up the game and went to the file select, and I was like, these aren't my characters. These are Leah's. Why do I have their copy of the game? Like, my mind was just kind of mind-fucked that they moved away 6 years ago, and yet I somehow ended up with their copy of the game. Which makes me wonder, because I don't know where my copy is now. It's not with the rest of my DS games anywhere. And it makes me think they might have my copy of the game. which I don't know why I would have traded them copies of the game anyway. We were both stuck at the same spot in the game. So, I don't really know. But, yeah, that's just a... And I mean... It made me think about this even more. I've talked to many people about this already. Like, I've talked to plenty of friends and whatnot about this, and people I talk to online, and I mean, it's hard to say if they'd even want to really even talk to me anyway. I mean, I should back up a little bit. I was briefly talking to Tasha a little bit. Like, I know her YouTube channel, which she doesn't upload too often anyway, but she uploaded for the first time in like a year or sometime back in like April or whatever. And like, she does like speed arts and stuff, so she used the Giratina battle music from Pokemon Platinum in one of her videos. And I just left it, and like, she said she was like shiny hunting, soft reset shiny hunting Giratina, which if you don't know Pokemon terms, then don't worry about it. But I more or less left a comment, and like, she responded to that, which was nice to hear. She does remember who I am, and hearing that she's still into Pokemon makes me think that, I mean, there could be a chance that we could talk about something again. I don't know. I mean, I don't know her on any other social media platform other than YouTube. Which, I'm gonna be honest. Okay, I should back up again as well. In 2013, I mentioned in Battle for Bikini Bottom, which, by the way, I can't believe it's been 3 years since I LP'd that game. Like, it feels like just yesterday. And I was rewatching some old segments the last week, and I feel like that LP really was one of my best. But anyways, so I went back. I mentioned something during, I believe it was the Sand Mountain video. I mentioned something that I was talking with one of my old friends or whatever, and I'm gonna be honest, that was Tasha. I was talking to her a bit back then, and it was a bit odd. Like, I'll back up again in case people don't realize, YouTube used to have a really good inbox system. It, honest to God, did. It had an inbox system where you could... It had an inbox system where you could send private messages and see your comments, and you could access this right from your main page, which was just beautiful. And thanks to a little thing called Google+, which, by the way, this is my only reaction to that, it made things so complicated that it basically screwed any chances I had of talking to her out of, because there was no way. I knew how to get around the complicated setup, but there was no way she would have known. And it was like the most bloody, stupid freaking system you'd ever see. That it screwed any chances I had of talking to her, and I hadn't talked to her since 2013 either, which was kind of a miracle as to how I even talked to her earlier this year in a YouTube comment, but even still. And I had her Kick at one point as well, which, if you don't know, Kick is like a messaging app for mobile phones and such, so I had her Kick at one point, but that was it. And, like, I didn't even, like, she hasn't been on that in a long time either, so, actually since 2013 again. And I'll be honest, it's been a few years. It's been 3 years since then. And I just... It's a matter of whether or not... I understand, life goes on. no, there's no denying that. Like, if at some point people just need to move on with their lives, I can't be stuck in this forever, or else I'm just gonna be a miserable train wreck if I am. Which I kind of am right now, to be honest. But I mean, I don't even know if, like, if I even reconnected with them. I don't even know if what they'd even say, or like, I don't even care what they look like at this point. Like, I just wanna. It would just be nice to talk to them again. You know, like, spend even just one evening, like, talking about stuff. Like, I miss those days where we would just hang out and do stuff. I think. Do I think there's a chance? I think so. I mean, Tasha still plays Pokemon, so I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, I think there is definitely still a chance. But it's just really, it's really hard to say. There's so many factors into this that I just. I haven't felt the same, which is one reason why Mario Kart Wii hasn't come out in the last little while. I will get back to that soon. Don't worry. Because I'm gonna be honest, the next episodes of Mario Kart Wii are really, really good. They've been recorded for probably the good half of a month now, if anything, but if not longer, they've probably been recorded since sometime in May, if anything. But yeah, this is just the way I've been feeling lately, and I figured I should let you guys know that by now. It's just a really hard feeling, and it doesn't help as well that I listen to a lot of music, and like, there's just so many songs that just make me think of them in general. Not really stuff I listened to with them, because I didn't really listen to a whole lot of music when they were still around here. But, like, you know, it's just hard for me to hear songs like Have You Ever Needed Someone So Bad by Def Leppard, or Miles Away by Winger, or Life Goes On by Poison. And I'm just listening to glam metal bands now, I realize, and I know that's not everybody's cup of tea right now, but I mean, maybe it's something about those songs, and I mean, probably something about the lyrics of those songs that speaks out to me, because it's kind of the emotion that I feel from them. Like, yeah, I really don't know. This video's been, like, really long, and if you actually sat through this whole video, I'd be very surprised. But I mean, and yeah, so that's just the way I feel right now. And I'll reiterate something I said in the Draw My Life video, but if either of you two are watching this right now, which, I mean, what are the freaking chances of that happening? But I miss you girls a lot. I'm gonna be honest and say that. There hasn't been a friend that I've talked to or enjoyed having company around since, like, basically since those days. Like, and maybe as well, it's hard to say, because I was still, you know, a kid at the time when they moved away. I was 13, and I I said this, but I even said this before. The last thing we did before they moved away, or at least the last memorable thing, was that we went and saw Toy Story 3 at the drive-in, which it's odd for me someone to say they still have they still remember the drive-in theater, but yeah, we went to see that at the drive-in, and honestly, it kind of strikes a bigger emotion on me whenever I think of that movie, because like a lot of people really like that movie, and I really like it too, but it strikes a really, really emotional thing with me, knowing that that was pretty much the last time I ever saw, like, two of my best friends. And, like, I remember, we were with my parents, and the five of us were in the car, and I mean, the car's now mine as well, but I mean, it was just the five of us in the car, and I mean, my parents even like sat outside so like the three of us could just spend some bonding time together, and like my dad also went to Greco to get a pizza just before we went as well. I'm pretty sure I had popcorn there, but yeah, it's. Again, I realize you guys have just almost sat through a half hour long of me just rambling, but this is just kind of the emotion I've been going through lately, and yeah. I mean, it just even strikes. I don't know. To reference the song Life Goes On by Poison, just to end this video off, I guess. If you only knew how much I miss you. That's all I really gotta say.